This is the latest project by the man who brought us It Comes at Night, which I liked to some degree, but I definitely also had some issues with it. So I can't say I was any sort of huge fan of his work, or that I was all that hyped to watch this. In fact, on the surface this looked a little bit meh to me, not all that interesting. I mean, it just looked like one of these movies that the critics love but I end up feeling a bit underwhelmed by. But I still wanted to give it a look because sometimes these movies do surprise me. And well, first of all, I will say that this is a very different movie than It Comes at Night. I will also say that it's a very good looking movie, and the first thing you'll probably notice is the camera work, because it's very dynamic and lively and rarely do you get just plain static shots. And I didn't mind that at all, but the other thing you'll probably notice is the music, by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who have made some really good soundtracks in the past. However, in this one, and it's not just the score but the rest of the music too, it was kinda loud and overwhelming and a little bit too much at times. I mean, there's a strong emphasis on the music in this, and I feel like they overdid it a bit. So I didn't love that part, but I will say that at least the music fit the movie. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the rest of it and the basic premise here. And the story follows this upper middle class family and primarily the son, who's a senior in high school and an athlete, a wrestler, and his family, especially his dad, puts a lot of pressure on him and makes sure he performs as well as he can. And I don't know how much more I really want to say about the story, because a lot of the enjoyment I got out of this was discovering what happens next, and how this story unfolds without having any idea where it might go next. But I will say that it gets rather gripping and intense at times, really intense actually. And it had me completely mesmerized and absorbed by the time it got to the halfway point. And I will say that what this accomplished in the first hour and 10 minutes or so, was pretty astonishing. It crammed so much into it without it feeling rushed at all. And then the sort of midway point happens and it leaves you wondering what's gonna happen now. Where could it possibly go from here? And it didn't go the route you'd expect it to. Because what it does is, and I hope this isn't too much of a spoiler, and I'm not gonna give away any details of what actually happens or why it happens, but I at least wanna mention it. Because it is a very unusual move that you don't see a lot of movies pull. But what it does is, it actually switched the point of view character completely. And it did feel a tad bit jarring at first, because you'd been basically glued to this one character up until that point. But then it switches it. And it did make perfect sense, and the transition was pretty smooth overall too. And I have to say that after the first hour or so, which was very intense, the second half did feel like a welcome relief, like a bit of a palate cleanser. And where the first movie shone with its intensity and just pure visceral energy, the second part is very different and a lot more mellow and toned down. And it pokes at very different emotions too, and it does it very, very well. In fact, there are several absolutely beautiful scenes in that second part, and that solidified this as probably my favorite movie of the new year so far. I mean, it's so well done on every level, and apart from the issue I had with the music, it being a tad bit too in your face at times, I thought everything else was more or less spot on. Everything from the writing, the direction, the performances was just really good. And I have to say that this definitely surprised me and very much exceeded my expectations. However, would I recommend it? Yeah, I think you should definitely check it out. Or you could not do that. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.